two, 1, 2. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask for your silence, please, and remind you to either switch your mobile phones onto silent or turn them off altogether, please. Here is your top 3 today. Third place for Andrea Dovizioso. Second, Valentino Rossi, and your race winner, Marc Marquez. Okay, round 2 of the MotoGP World Championship, the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. Marc, a good Friday, an even better Saturday. No crashes throughout the weekend. Fastest in this morning's warm-up. The plan worked perfectly. Could that weekend actually get any better? An absolutely brilliant victory for you here today.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy because we won and we are leading the championship, but I'm happier the way that we managed the weekend. It's one of the most solid weekends in my career in MotoGP. I feel really strong during all the sessions. I understand really well the setup, the tires, and yeah, then I understand the way to manage the race, and I understand that the first laps where I can make the biggest difference. And this was the strategy. The start was perfect. I was so concentrated. Then just I was pushing on the beginning, and since I saw the gap, then I tried to manage the race and try to finish in a good way.
I just overheard an interview that you were doing a moment ago where perhaps you had 2 plans depending on what happened into turn 1. So obviously plan A worked very well. But had somebody maybe got in front of you, would it have been a different race, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had the plan A, that was a good start and pushing until the beginning, or plan B, that was not so good start, because you never know Ducati with that whole shot, or I don't know what, and with that system. And I was thinking, if they start first, I will save the tires in the beginning and push in the end. But I saw in the first lap that there was plus 0.7, maybe a little bit more, and then just I keep pushing, and especially in the beginning is where I make the biggest difference, because in the end, of course, I was not pushing on my 100% because I was trying to manage the risk.
Congratulations, Marc, and we'll see you in Austin. Moving on now to Valentino Rossi. Congratulations, Valentino. You're back in the press room for the first time since Sachsenring. It must feel like a long time. You had a few chances at the end of 2018 to be here, but you looked delighted with that great result. Good qualifying for you yesterday as well, and a great battle with Dovizioso on the final lap.
Yes, like you said, so I'm very happy because was from Sachsenring of last year, so long time ago, not on the podium. And also because in the last 2 races of last year, in Malaysia and in Valencia, I was strong, I can arrive on the podium, but I did 2 mistakes, and sincerely the championship finished with a bad taste in the mouth. And also arriving in an important moment is so important for me, for my team, and also for Yamaha. For me, it was a good weekend from Friday. We work well on the setting of the bike, we work well with the tires, and I ride well from FP1. I was in a good shape, and the race was good. Sincerely, I expect to be a bit faster, so I tried to overtake Dovi for try to go in front. But with more temperature, I was more in trouble, and I was not very strong. So after Dovi stay in front for the majority part of the race, but I was able to stay with him because I have some point where I feel very good with my bike. But I know that for beat Andrea, I have to be very, very precise. And I try in the turn 7 because I have a good entry, and it was good. I don't go wide, and you know, win a fight with Andrea on the last lap is always great, and win a fight in the last lap in general is very exciting.
In Qatar, of course, you had to fight really hard from 16th on the grid. You finished in 5th. How crucial was it for you to be on the second row here today, and how crucial in general is it for your qualifying to be more like yesterday?
Well, it was crucial. The qualifying is always very difficult because really everybody are able to squeeze the tire and the bike and the 120% for 1 lap. And if you do 110, you are in the 3rd row. So starting from the 2nd row is a lot better. But also because I arrive ready to the qualifying because I have already a good pace.
Congratulations, Valentino. Thanks very much. Moving on now to Andrea Dovizioso. Andrea, it's a funny game, motorcycle racing. At the start of the weekend, if we'd have said to you third place, I think you'd have been quite happy with that. But of course, always a bitter pill to swallow to lose second place on the final lap. How are you feeling?
Yes, this is the way we have to look the weekend, because our target is to do the podium, and we did it. So about that, we are happy to make an important point in a bad track. But I'm not too happy in the way the tire worked during the race. I couldn't be fast as I want the last 10 laps to create the gap to Vale. And so Vale was able to study very well my way to ride and created the overtaking in the last lap. I couldn't answer, but third is okay. I'm not too happy about the way the tire works, so we have to study. I think it will be very important to analyze and understand what we can improve.
Is it at all easier to accept, given that most people believed Marc was going to win the race, so you'd already resigned yourself to maybe second being the best result here possible this weekend?
Yes, for sure. When Marc is like this, he's unbeatable. But unfortunately, this is not a news in some track, in some moment with Marc. We have to look the big picture and try to bring the maximum point.
Thanks very much, Andrea. Well, that's your top three, ladies and gentlemen. Marc Marquez, the winner, from Valentino Rossi and Andrea Dovizioso. Floor questions, please.
Question for Valentino. Valentino, two questions. The first question is that you were the only one on the six first guys to have a medium rear tire. So you knew that Andrea had a soft, and you knew that you are better in the last two laps on your rear tire. And the second question is how you saw your fight with your student Frankie.
Yeah, sincerely, I was quite sure about my choice on the medium, simply because we work hard during the practice, and I have a good pace. This morning I tried the soft, and I feel a little bit better, but I like more the medium. So in general, you don't have a good choice and the right choice for everybody. The difference make the rider with the bike is one tire is the best, but it's not the same than another rider and another bike. I expect to be faster at the end, but in reality, with the Dovi, we were very similar. But in the last laps, I think that the medium helped me a bit. And with Franco, the battle is always very hard. We battle a lot also at the range or when we go to train. But I think I was a bit faster today, so enough for staying in front.
Here, my question is for Valentino. Valentino, Marc has pointed throughout all the weekend that tire management was a very key factor here in Termas de Hondo. I would like to ask you if you had to manage a bit your tires in order to be able to overtake Dobby at the end of the race.
Yes, everybody, all the riders have to manage the tire during the race, because if you push a lot, not just with the rear but also with the front, is not easy, especially with the temperature of this afternoon that was hotter than all the weekend, and in fact was a bit more difficult to manage the bike. So you cannot push at 100% all the lap, but you have also to ride well.
A question for Marc and a question for Valentino. Marc, how difficult was it on such a difficult circuit, difficult conditions, to maintain consistency, ride safely at the front? And Valentino, where does the Yamaha compare now to where it was this time last year?
I mean, was not very, very difficult. For example, in Qatar, I was struggling more to follow the others, even to be there in the podium. But for some reason, this weekend, I was going out, and since I go out from the box on the laps, I mean, I was on a good shape. And when you are in a good shape, when you have that sweet feeling, then everything comes easier. But it's true that we need to enjoy it. We need to be happy about the weekend. But in the end, okay, the difference is big. but the 25 points are the same. So yeah, happy, but keep pushing because of course will arrive another racetrack that we struggle more. But in the moment that we have this feeling, we need to use all our potential to take the 25 points.
So it's very difficult to say because in MotoGP now the situation changes from one day to the other. One day you are in the top 5 and in Saturday you are out of the 15. So imagine how much change from race track to another racetrack. We have to take race by race. Now we go in Austin. That is maybe the most tricky and difficult track of the season, but I like. It's very technical. And in the last years, sincerely, I was also quite strong. So we try to make a good job also there.
The question is for Dobby. Dobby, something happened with you today different. We saw you in Qatar so more aggressive, and today you was a little quiet. Something happens with you, with something in your mind. What did you feel?
It's easy. Last year I was minimum 1 second slower than what I did today. I think our improvement is huge, and that's why the target was the podium, and we did it. So we have to be really happy about that. It's not enough because we fight with the great riders, but I think our speed, and I was constantly second. Last year I finished 6 because a lot of riders make crazy things and crash. So I think the improvement is huge.
Question for Mark. Mark, do you remember the last time you were in a so good position to start a championship?
Last year I felt very similar. I mean, last year we start, of course here we take 0 points, but the speed was there. I mean, I was really fast on the race, but we did a few mistakes, so yeah, then we take 0 points. But then last year I felt strong too. Maybe we will see, but always I try to be quiet because the championship is very long. We'll arrive another racetracks, but what I see is like always are the same names here. I mean, around the top 5 always are the same names. So that means that if you do some mistake, you can drop many positions on the championship.
Vale, a question for you. Today is the 23rd anniversary of your first race in Malaysia 96. How is possible to remain in the podium 23 years later and with 40 years old?
Yeah, it was yesterday or today. No, today is the 31 March. Okay. Yes, I see this morning. I see the images, and it was quite funny because it's like another era. It was in black and white on the television. For me, because I like, is the first part of my career. I won a lot of races, a lot of championship, and you arrive in one point that is more difficult because arrive younger and stronger opponents. So in that moment, maybe you have to decide. You prefer to stay at home and look at your trophy and be happy about this, or you prefer to continue to fight because you enjoy. I think this is my case.
Question for Dovi. Dovi, before the half of the race, you were back in the 3rd position, and in the big straight, it seems that you can pass Valentino with the power of Ducati, but you didn't. It was a strategy, or he was so good on the brakes?
No, he overtook me. He wanted to stay on front, but in that part of the track I was faster. So also have to manage the temperature of the tire. So if you make the straight, if you are able to do the straight, not behind the rider, is always better. So remaining a lot more than 15 laps, so I don't need to overtake in that moment Vale. So that's why I did it. That was my positive part of the track.
Gentlemen, that's it. Well done. See you in Austin.